Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing out there? Just made a mad dash to the Pilot to get me a girly cappuccino and all that stuff, you know. So we've been at it for only an hour and a half this morning. It's 6:30 a.m. and we're kind of, well, to be honest with you, we're kind of screwed on this load. But I just heard the most confusing conversation that I think I've ever heard in my life between the three Pilot employees that were very busy having a conversation. Don't worry, guys, they weren't helping the customers. They were very much into their conversation. The quality of Flying J has really dropped off. It was crazy. I stood there for like 5 minutes waiting to pay for my stuff. The only customer in there waiting to pay for my stuff. But I was polite enough to let them finish their conversation at least. I don't want to be rude, right? So, anyways, the three of them were trying to figure out why the fourth one wasn't at work today. I guess because they needed a fourth to stand around and talk with while customers were trying to pay for their stuff. I don't know. But we finally got to the conclusion, and it went something like this. Well, I think the reason she ain't here today is because her Friday is her Saturday, and that's why. And that's why. And now we know. Mystery solved, guys. What does that even mean? And I'm glad they took time out of my day to get to the bottom of that, because that would have been really tragic if they would have had to stop their conversation for little old me trying to buy some things. So anyways, guys, I'm so screwed on this. We're going to get into a little discussion later, I think, because if I don't, then I'm going to forget to edit this out, and you guys are going to ask me what the hell I was talking about. But you guys know I did
the traffic light, then take the first left.
I'm not going to beat a dead horse forever, but I am going to do this topic. I did that video making fun of the Prime driver that didn't care about anyone else's time, even Prime driver's time. And it's not, so let me clarify, it wasn't that he was taking his time and being safe, right? Because that's one thing. I'm an experienced driver, 10 years. I understand the difference, right? It was that instead of focusing on his job, even if that meant being safe and taking his time, he was too busy responding to his text messages and phone calls to be bothered to get out of anybody else's way, right? And that was the point of that, and I thought it was funny. And then in yesterday's video, I kind of made fun of. Now, let me be clear. It's not like anybody came into my comments and they were like pissed off because I mentioned Prime. No, nothing like that. But there were a few Prime drivers that showed up just because I mentioned Prime. That was the only reason. And I was talking to a friend yesterday, and she drives for Prime. And she's a decent person. She's an all right person. I'm not going to like throw her under the bus or get angry or anything. But like, she lives and breathes Prime. So most of the time you cannot have a conversation without, well, Prime is amazing because of this, and Prime is amazing because of that also, and Prime, more Prime, let's talk about Prime. Did I mention Prime? Have I said Prime? And you guys are probably wondering why I'm dragging out this joke, because that's how it really goes. Prime all the time. It's prime time, baby. It's prime time. So anyways, I think that friend could sense my frustration with the constant discussions about Prime and how great Prime is. And they asked me the question, well, why is it, do you think, that Prime gets so much hate? There's Swift out there that people just make fun of. But she says, I think Prime genuinely gets hate from other drivers. And that's what we're going to talk about later today. The old sleeper session, when I turn the camera on this ugly mug and I present my videos as if they have any actual thoughts inside them. So that's what we'll do later. But anyways, guys, we're screwed on this load, and I don't care. I mean, I do care because I don't know what this does to the next load. This load was supposed to be there yesterday by 7 p.m. It was picking up at 9 a.m., almost 600-mile trip, due by 7 p.m., but we do lose a time zone on it, right? And I was like, yeah, if they load it quickly, then cool, we've got it, no problem. If they don't, then it's gonna have to be next day. Well, they said, okay, if it's next day, you can deliver at 5 a.m. Keep in mind, it's 6:30, and I've got 215 miles to go right now. Well, I loaded just north of Atlanta, said be there, or your appointment's at 9 a.m. I was there at 8:50, checked in, already spoke with everyone, all good, right? Well, they didn't have me loaded till 2 p.m. Then I had to deal with Atlanta traffic in the afternoon because I had to go back around Atlanta. And there's no way around 10-hour break. Had to do it, right? So, and I don't even care if somebody says in the comments there might have been a way to do a split and all that. And then made it there by early this morning. Because for one, I don't really understand how splits work because I never bothered to learn. And my reasoning behind that is, if a load can't be done with 10-hour breaks in it, then there's something wrong with the load. There's not something wrong with me at that point. So that's all I did. 10-hour break, had traffic, all that. It's currently, like I said, 6:30. We've got about 3 to 4 hours, more on the 3-hour side. But we're gonna be there 9:30, 10 o'clock. And my next load was supposed to pick up at 9 a.m. So, I have no idea what we're going to do with this. As a matter of fact, I'm going to let dispatch know. I told them yesterday I'll get there as soon as I can, and that's all I can do. But now I'll give them an actual ETA, and they can make a decision on that load. I don't even know if they're going to unload this, which makes me very angry because it's all for the same company. It's going from Domino's to Domino's, and Domino's made it late, and then Domino's is probably going to refuse to unload it in any kind of reasonable time because Domino's wouldn't load it in any kind of reasonable time to begin with. So as much as Prime hates Prime, apparently Domino's is going to hate on Domino's so much today that I get caught in the middle, and I'm the one that sits around all day. Because Domino's cannot believe the audacity of Domino's to not load so that this can get unloaded on time at Domino's. Love it. It's great. What a world we live in. I'll talk to you guys soon. Well, hello. All of you are looking fantastic today. Just wanted to say that. We've made it to our spot, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And they gave me a door right away, so you can't even be mad about that. Can't even be a little bit mad about that. I just saw my face on the camera. And I don't pay a whole lot of attention to the noise these days. There's a guy back there banging on his tanker. How about Food Liner? Do they pay all right? Food grade tankers? Anyways, every once in a while I go play in the pig pen a little bit, if you will. And for those that know, I listen to that guy, Penguins, or Moist Critical, and that's what he says when he says he goes and messes around in the slums of YouTube playing in the pig pen. But I was playing in the pig pen myself yesterday. And I can't fit between this tanker. Maybe I'll go have a look real quick, see what we got. That guy's out there banging on his trailer, the food tanker, and I couldn't quite see where I was. He says stop, but I went out and looked and I wasn't that close. I wasn't that close. And we'll straighten her out a little bit. That is pretty tight there, isn't it? pretty tight. That's all right. So I had a point to my story. And the point was, when I saw my ugly mug on my video just now, I was playing in the pig pen, so to speak, and there was a guy really upset at me. He said, how come every time I go see this guy Truck's video, he's got a picture of his face on the thumbnail and he's smiling? I'm like, well, that's an odd question. That's a bizarre question. Why would my face be the thumbnail of my own videos? I just don't know. It's like we're in the business of solving mysteries today, I guess. But I thought the comment was funny. He said that this guy Trucks ain't this good looking anyways. I said, yeah, he's got me there. He's definitely got me there. Now that's a fact. I understand. I don't understand his confusion about why my own face would be on my own thumbnails. But if the debate is about me being good looking or not good looking, well, he's got me. He's got me. So anyways, just about back into our door here. You guys know me. I like to go back there and look at the actual dock plate and make sure that we're lined up, because sometimes I just can't tell for sure. So I'm going to do that real quick, and I'll get back to you with more video here in just a minute. All right, we're backed in, and they're already unloading it. I've literally been here for 3-4 minutes, and they've started unloading already. So that is awesome. That's fantastic. But we got screwed like I thought we might. The other load I had, I was supposed to go to St. Joe, Missouri for another $2,000 by Monday morning. Canceled because I was not going to make it on time. Now it's Friday. From what I can see of the load board, it don't look good, and we don't have a load. So, hey, we'll figure it out. This is one of those times where somebody's going to have to figure something out. I did my part. I showed up to my pickup early. Took 5-6 hours to load it on a straight through, almost 600-mile run. There was no room for error on that one. So this will be one of those times where I will have to be firm with dispatch and say, hey, figure it out, because this truck ain't sitting. It's got to keep rolling. That's all there is to it. So, you know, we'll see what they figure out, see what they pull off. But I'll probably text them when I finish this part of the video and say, hey, they're unloading me, so we need another load. We need to go. So we'll see how that all works out for us, because we're gonna have a series of angry videos if I'm sitting all weekend. A series of angry videos. Fact of the matter is, I just can't afford it. Can't afford to sit all weekend. So we will have a very moody, grumpy, angry, sad, emotional this guy Truck. Speaking of emotional, I did just want to touch on that part earlier. I do, guys, I do have a guilty pleasure of watching the gutters of YouTube trucking, which I do belong to. I'm not gonna act like I'm better than that. But I do enjoy jumping in the shenanigans and trash talking with the guys and stuff like that. I've always found it weird how seriously people take my trash talk, but they trash talk me, and it's all supposed to be in fun until this guy Truck says something, and then it's not fun anymore, I guess. I'm not really sure, and I don't really care. But the guy was like commenting on how ugly I am, which is fine. Like, I don't care if other men find me attractive or not. While I was in the gutter, somebody was commenting about how ugly my wife and my girlfriend both are, and me, I think they're both pretty damn adorable. So I guess that's the only part that matters. But he was so irate that my thumbnails have my face in them, that he said, I gotta stop watching this guy. I gotta stop watching him. And I agree 100%. If you're that emotional over it, I would strongly recommend you stop watching, because that's a crazy thing to get that worked up about. But enough about that. You guys know me. Every once in a while I gotta put in my 2 cents on dumb stuff like that, and I enjoy it. So hey, that's what I'm here to do, enjoy myself. So I do want to have this discussion here in a little bit about Prime and why they get air quote hate. I don't hate Prime. I don't have hatred towards Prime, but I do like cracking jokes at their expense. I sure do. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit, and we'll go from there. Woo, all right, everybody. The day has been saved. The turns have been tabled, and the South will rise again. Well, one of those is probably not true. I don't know which one, but I don't even know if I mentioned it. Don't worry, we'll get to the prime discussion in a little bit. Hold your horses. But I don't know if I mentioned that the load I was supposed to pick up today was canceled. We were gonna do about 5,300 gross for the week, which is not great. But that load got, or 54. That load got canceled because we were late, because we got held up for 5 or 6 hours on the straight through load we were supposed to do. And so they canceled it. So we actually are heading 42 miles from here, Independence, Louisiana.
Continue 400 feet to the end of the street.
Pick up a
then
load
turn
there.
left.
I'm still waiting on the rate con, but my dispatcher's working on it. He said, we got the load, just head that way. I'll get you all the information soon. But I think he said we're going up to Minnesota.
Turn left on South Range Avenue, then take the ramp on the right.
20, now I don't remember what the price was. 2,300 or something like that. I don't remember for sure, but anyways, it's gonna make the week 5,700, so we'll end up ahead $300 on that. And we managed to find a load, because I was starting to get worried that we were gonna sit here all weekend. I might sit here all weekend trying to leave this Flying J, though. Is anyone familiar with this Flying J? What a terrible entry and exit they have for it. I mean, I was watching guys try to get out of here earlier. I was kind of hoping I was done for the day and I could pull out of here early in the morning, because this looks awful. But anyways, we got that worked out. And they got us backhaul, I guess, back down to here for I think another 2,300 due by Wednesday morning. So we're all booked up for about $4,600 right now, I think. And I actually might be clear here if we can get this one car out of the way. They're getting a green light down there, but Daddy don't care. Daddy don't care. It's time to get out of here.
Take the
that ended up working out. Dispatcher's calling me. I'll get back with you. Good Lord, I have been trying to record this last part of this video all day. Boy, we have had quite a day. Quite a day. Boy, a lot to talk about with just that. But earlier I recorded like 18 minutes on this end part of me just talking about absolutely nothing and believing that I was making valid points. Can you believe that? Does that sound like something I would do? Ramble on and on endlessly and not say anything? That doesn't sound like me at all. Not even a little bit. It's crazy talk. Anyways, God, what a day we've had. So we delivered late because we got loaded late on that first load. Then the load I was supposed to pick up got canceled, right? And then I got on here all happy because I'm dumb and I never learned my lesson. We got another load, we're doing this and that, and hell yeah, we're gonna go crazy. And I take off, I'm on my way to pick up that load. That gets canceled before we even get there. No reason, I have no idea why. I stop at this truck stop, everything in that area is like pay to park, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wait a few hours before I pay for a parking spot. And then after a few hours, I'll go pay for one, and whatever. It is what it is at that point, right? So, I take a nap, I get up, a few hours have passed, I go pay for my parking spot. Come back out to my truck, put my little tag in the window. Look, I've paid for a parking spot because I'm a good boy. So I paid for a parking spot. And then 5 minutes later, my phone rings. It's my dispatcher. I'm like, what does he want? We're done. He says, I got a load 6 miles from you that needs to be in Ohio tomorrow. He says, can you make it? And I said, well, by what time? He says, by midnight. By midnight. And it's all yours. I said, boy, it's going to be real close because we're running out of time today. But let's grab it and let's just hope for the best, right? Let's just hope for the best. Either way, let's get it on the truck. We'll worry about the rest later, right? So I go and get it loaded after I just paid for my parking spot. So that's $15 I'll never get back, but the load's $2,000 for 860 miles. Okay, we'll make that trade-off because I thought the week was done. I thought we were completely screwed. So I get the load. It's one pallet, 2,000 pounds, something like that. It's one pallet. I don't know if the weight's on here. But literally, it's one pallet. They must have put the weight on here somewhere because my dispatcher said it was 2,000 pounds, but I'm not sure that I believe that. Because it's one pallet. Can one pallet be 2,000 pounds? Maybe. Possible, but that's it. One pallet. So we get it. We hit the road. We're just screaming down the road. And we almost ran out of time for the day. I parked with 4 minutes left on my 745 miles to go tomorrow. Boy, we better let her rip. We better let her rip. But like I said, it's already on the truck at this point. So, hey, we'll do our best. We'll do our best. So that's the way that's going to go. I have been trying to get to this point all day. Here's what set it up. I have a friend that drives for Prime. My friend that drives for Prime is not an evil person, though she does work for an evil empire. There we go. I just made all the Prime drivers mad. Well, I'll explain if I remember. And I want to be polite. She's been a channel supporter for a long time. We've talked a lot outside of YouTube, through Snapchat and stuff like that. And she is a good friend. She is a good person. But my God, can she be frustrating with all the Prime nonstop all the time. Like when I'm kind of struggling out here, I put a video in that. And she'll be like, well, if you would have went to Prime, you never would have struggled because Prime doesn't do anything wrong. And I'm sure there's Prime drivers that have bad weeks from here to there. You get the point. And it's always like Prime, just constant Prime, just Prime. So she was talking to me a little bit yesterday after my last two bullying videos towards Prime. And she said, I guess what I just don't understand is why Prime gets so much hate. She said, there's companies out here like Swift that people make fun of, but Prime gets hate from other drivers. Now, I don't know that to be true. I don't hate Prime. I think that that would be a horrible use of my time, is if I spent time hating a company and hating drivers that drive for that company. I think I could use my energy in other places, like making these silly videos for you guys instead of just seething every time is seething a word? I think so. Every time I see a Prime truck, God, I hate Prime. I used to have a friend when I was a teenager, and this was back in the day when they used to play commercials. This is going to be another 18 minutes, isn't it? When they used to play commercials of albums you could buy, right? And there was like the best of the 80s album. And it would like, you know, it would play like the song, you could get Kiss and Poison, and it plays the song, right? And all that stuff. And then one of them was a Blondie song for the old people like me now. I'm getting old now. Do you remember Blondie? I don't know what her music was. Pop rockish. I'm not really sure. But I had a friend, when that commercial would play, he would go into a rage. I hate Blondie! And he'd start, I can't stand Blondie, man! And it's like, if a commercial is going to send you into this much of a rage, maybe you should just turn the TV off. He'd just be smacking stuff. I just can't stand her, bro. I hate Blondie so much. It's like, okay, that's not how I feel about Prime, is the point I'm trying to make. Why do Prime drivers feel hated, and what's going on? Here's what I think. First of all, let's talk about the evil empire, which is every mega carrier out there. If you are coming into the industry, it absolutely makes sense to go to work for a mega carrier. They can put you to work, they can provide you with good training, all these things. But after that, there comes a point in your life where you start to decide, do I start to take trucking seriously, and do I want it to be there for me in the future, right? Now me, I've bailed on trucking a number of times. As a matter of fact, if I didn't get this load today, I was feeling that way again. I'm like, I can't do a $3,000 week, you know, and I was very, very upset. I would have had a video, very emotional video tomorrow about how I hate trucking, because y'all know me, I can't handle my own emotions sometimes, and it spills over onto YouTube. Anyways, if you want trucking to be there for you in the future, and you've already gotten your experience, why on earth would you stay and work for a mega carrier as a trucker, considering that mega carriers are anti-trucker? They are against you. I may be wrong about this, but that's the way I feel, okay? When you've got companies that are so big that they can operate at like a penny per mile profit or a half a penny per mile profit, and then they keep doing that because they've got so many trucks out there, then they are helping to drive rates down for us little guys, because they can swoop in, grab that load for less than your cost and run that truck down the road. And we don't have that luxury as smaller people out here. Now, like I said, I'm not picking on my friend. My friend is a very good friend. But she did say something to me one day that did actually anger me, that caused me to almost go into a rage. And she might have just been trolling me. I sometimes miss that, and I don't understand it. I take things very literal. But what she said to me is, what you smaller guys need to understand is at the end of the day, it's only going to be us mega carriers standing. So you can either get on board or you can be out of a job. I think the last part she didn't say, but she was saying that it will just be the megas left standing. To me, that's not a good thing. To me, that's a terrible thing, because I'm an old trucker now. I'd like to say so. For those of you that don't know, I'm not an old man by any means. I am 40 years old. I don't know why some people think I'm in my 30s, or sometimes people go real extreme and think I'm like late 20s. I have no idea. I'm going gray, you know? Not going bald, but I'm going gray. I'm 40 years old, and I've been driving trucks for 10 years. If you look at the statistics for how long people normally last in trucking, I'm an old soul out here. I've been out here a long time now, to the point that I use out here unironically. That's a throwback to the old channel for anyone that was around then. Anyways, forgot what I was saying. How about that? Maybe I'm a little older than I thought. Yeah, totally lost it. Totally, the evil empire, operating cost, all this stuff. I'm an old man. I'm an angry old man, blah, blah, blah. That's where we went with all that. I don't know where we were going with all that because I completely forgot. Damn. Anyways, they are anti-trucker. That's the facts. They are able to push rates down single-handedly, not single-handedly, but with the work of other major trucking companies. And now, I have always been the guy that says automation is coming to trucking, and I don't know that to be true anymore. The more I see these companies fold and go under, the more I realize maybe this might be just a pipe dream. There is a company claiming they can do automation now, but do not think for even a minute that the mega carriers don't want to automate your ass. Yes, they do. They do not want you in the truck. So by you helping to line their pockets and go work for them, you are helping the process of automating you. They do not want you in a truck any longer than they have to have you. Now, to get to past the whole corporate nonsense and how that's terrible, because companies that are too big in general are a problem for everyone. Nothing good comes out of companies that grow to these massive sizes that I can think of. Throw an example in the comments if you want. Amazon's not good. Walmart's not good for the most part, when you're talking about like the store level. Nothing really good comes out of massive corporations that suppress wages everywhere they go. That's just my one guy's opinion. But if we go down to a personal level, what is it about a prime driver that bothers other drivers? Well, y'all are just goofy sometimes, right? Like, I don't know what goes on in those orientations that you guys are indoctrinated through the whole time that you're there, to a point that if you don't drive for Prime, do you even drive a truck? Are you even a trucker? Like, Prime is the greatest thing that's ever happened to trucking. And maybe Prime did great things for you. I get that. But it's constant. It's constant that drivers get looked down on by Prime drivers because they don't drive for Prime. I've been doing YouTube for so many years now, and I cannot tell you the amount of Prime drivers that have been in my comment section telling me what a complete idiot I am. And that's possibly true, that I'm a complete idiot. I like to think of myself as a risk taker, and in turn I end up doing stupid shit that I shouldn't be doing. But I don't feel like if I didn't work for Prime that I'm not on the level of somebody that does work for Prime. I think that's crazy. And that is an attitude that you get a lot. Now, I could be wrong about that. A big one. Here's a big one that drives people crazy. All right? It's the constant recruiting. Now, don't get me wrong. In this YouTube gutter over here where I live, recruiting is looked down on, like the ultimate cardinal sin that you could commit, recruiting people. Now, me, I've been around long enough, and life's just hard sometimes, right? Life's just very tough. So if you can grab a quick buck, grab it, right? I believe that it's on the burden lies on the person looking for a job. If they heard some talking head on YouTube say, hey, this is a good company, and then they went and applied, and then they run back to YouTube and go, this didn't work for me, you're a liar. Well, that falls on them. That's completely their fault. These are adults too. You didn't bother to look up the company and see if it worked for you. You didn't know if they had what you were looking for. You didn't talk with the recruiter. You just filled out an application and said, when's orientation? If you went to work for a company because somebody said it on YouTube and that's what you based your decision off of, you're gullible and you deserve everything that goes wrong for you. That's your fault at that point. But recruiting is looked down upon heavily in these YouTube gutters, like I'm saying. And almost every prime driver on here puts their driver code at the beginning of their videos. Every one of you. Almost every one of you. And guys, we know who Prime is. By all means, if we like your content and we decide to go work for Prime and we watch your videos, we might as well get you a referral bonus. Sure, why not? But it's just, I think it's a little overboard that every prime driver is recruiting. Almost every. I got to keep correcting myself on that because I don't believe that every prime driver is recruiting. But it seems like too much to me. And I had recently found out from my friend, she was explaining to me, I was only kind of paying a little bit of attention. I guess the prime referral bonus has sort of residuals on it. So if you get people to stay, you get like a penny per mile or half a penny per mile or what have you for every driver you've referred that stays on. So you kind of like building a little bit of a pyramid scheme. They're not as bad as Variant. There's a straight up a pyramid scheme, right? But like everybody there is trying to be Junior Honduras now. Every one of you, not every one of you, right? But it's just the constant recruiting. We know that Prime is a starter company. If you choose to make it a career, that's your business. I wouldn't. I don't see the value in working for a mega carrier as an experienced driver. Even if you fail, you should be out there trying to carve out your own path, and at some point you should be fighting the very system that wants to hold you down, and that is the mega carriers, right? Forgot what I was saying again. I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old and just losing my mind. So, with all that said, prime drivers, no one hates you. Y'all just can be real annoying sometimes with like just this attitude of like superiority because you drive for Prime. Come on now. I gotta throw this video together and get it uploaded. So I'll talk to you guys another day. Bye now.